She was born on October 22nd, 1918, in Rubio, a small town in the Andes Mountains near the Venezuelan border with Colombia. She was the oldest of four, all raised by their widowed mother, Maria Olivieri. She was 95 years old, and for all of those years, she was the center of laughter and life in my family. She was my great-grandma. My great-grandma dropped out of school in the 6th grade to help her mother raise her siblings. Despite this, she was very wise, intuitive, and well-grounded. She married Pablo Andrés at the age of 18. He was almost 20 years older than her and already a successful entrepreneur in the city of San Cristobal. After having 3 children, my great-grandma made the bold decision to leave San Cristobal and go to the capital of Venezuela for her kids to study. She did not want to raise farmers and wanted to give her children the educational opportunity that she never had. She left her husband on the farm and went to live with family in Caracas until Pablo could sell the farm and move with them. Even after this courageous move, my great-grandma wanted to send her daughter, the youngest of the 3, to Europe to learn different languages and further her education. Auda Sofia was only 14 at the time, but after my great-grandma convinced Papa Pablo to allow it, Auda Sofia was off to Switzerland. During this time, the family's social life developed, as Pablo Andrés, the oldest, and Sergio, the middle child, began to date the women they would soon wed, and Auda Sofia, my grandma, met my grandpa. Everything seemed to be going well. All of a sudden, the tragedies began to unfold, with the death of Papa Pablo in 1985 of a stroke. In 1994, Pablo Andrés, after whom I am named, died in an accident while piloting his own plane in the middle of a storm. When the news of the crash reached her, my great-grandma prayed that her son was still alive until the body was found. Then Sergio was killed in 1999 near Rubio after bravely resisting kidnapping by the Colombian guerrillas. I was born that same year, only 4 months after Sergio's death. I have heard many stories about my 2 great-uncles, men who died too soon, but will be remembered forever. Despite these continuous losses, nothing could stop my great-grandmother from being the amazing person she became. She was a tremendously devout woman who went through hell and survived. After her first son's death, she found her strength in the Virgin of Perpetual Health. And after her youngest son passed, that Virgin and her daughter were the only things that gave her the strength to keep living. Whenever I visited her, she would kneel on a small stool in front of an altar she created for herself and pray to that same Virgin. I remember sitting in her lap as she told me stories and jokes while she lightly pinched my arm. Sometimes she seemed to go off in her own world, although the pinching never stopped. I imagine her thinking of what she went through. Was she reminded of things she wished she hadn't been? Moments like these are when I noticed her the most. She was a chubby woman, small in size, but exuberant in character and dress. She always wore vibrant colors such as pink and gold, with her perfectly coiffed hair, familiar smell of both hairspray and clean laundry, and her pink nail polish. As much as she made an effort to look her best each day, she put even more energy to really getting to know everyone she met and bringing smiles to their faces. She strove to make everyone's day that much brighter, and I didn't know back then, but she had really gone through, yet she was already my idol. I told myself I wanted to be like her when I got old, the kind of person who can lighten the mood, crack people up, and be strong enough to face and accept whatever life throws at him or her. I still do. Last year, I sat there with her, on the same old sofa we had sat for the last 12 years, and talked. I was older then, and I understood. I understood that despite all she was, and all she had striven to be after her losses, we would lose her too. I sat there with her, talking. I lightly pinched her arm, and we smiled.